Welcome back to Rooted Grace. If you've been with us through Genesis and Exodus, you've seen the story unfold: creation, covenant, deliverance from Egypt, and the presence of God dwelling among his people. Now we enter Leviticus, the third book of the Bible and one of the most misunderstood. To many, Leviticus feels strange: rituals, sacrifices, laws, but behind every command is a message. God is holy and he desires a holy people. Leviticus teaches us how to live in the presence of a holy God. Let's explore the beauty, depth, and relevance of this sacred book. Leviticus is divided into three main sections. 1. Sacrifices and offerings, chapters 1 through 7. 2. Priesthood and purity laws, chapters 8 through 16. And 3. Holiness and covenant living, chapters 17 through 27. At the center of the book is the Day of Atonement in chapter 16, a picture of cleansing, forgiveness, and access to God. It's all about holiness, not legalism, not empty ritual, but relationship. This book shows us how sinful people can approach a holy God, and how that holiness changes everything. God begins with 5 types of offerings. First, the burnt offering, total surrender to God. Next, the grain offering, worship and thanksgiving. Then the peace offering, fellowship and reconciliation. After that, the sin offering, atonement for unintentional sin. Finally, the guilt offering, restitution and cleansing. Each offering has meaning, each points forward to Jesus. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 22, without the shedding of blood there is no forgiveness. In these rituals we see both the cost of sin and the mercy of God. Leviticus teaches that worship isn't just music or emotion, it's sacrifice, obedience, and reverence. God appoints Aaron and his sons as priests. They are set apart, anointed, and given holy garments. Their job? To stand between God and the people, offering sacrifices and teaching the law. But in chapter 10, tragedy strikes. Nadab and Abihu, Aaron's sons, offer unauthorized fire, something God didn't command. Fire comes from the Lord and consumes them. God is not to be treated lightly. Leviticus chapter 10 verse 3, "Among those who are near me I will be sanctified, and before all the people I will be glorified." God's holiness is real, and those who lead must revere him. Next, we enter laws about cleanliness: food, childbirth, disease, and bodily discharges. These laws weren't just physical hygiene, they symbolized spiritual truths. Uncleanness meant separation from God's presence. Clean did not mean perfect, but it did mean acceptable for worship. It reminds us that sin affects every part of life, and God calls us to wholeness in every area. Jesus later declares all foods clean, and he touches the unclean, showing that he is the fulfillment of these laws. This chapter is the heart of Leviticus. One day a year, the high priest enters the most holy place. He offers sacrifices for himself and for the people. 2 goats are brought forward. One is sacrificed. The other, the scapegoat, is released into the wilderness, symbolizing the removal of sin. This is a powerful picture of Jesus. Isaiah 53 verse 6, "The Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all." The Day of Atonement shows us God's mercy. Sin is serious, but forgiveness is possible. God now calls the people to live differently, to be holy as he is holy. These chapters cover topics like respecting life and blood, sexual purity, justice and fairness, and reverence for parents and elders. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 2, "Be holy because I, the Lord your God, am holy." Holiness isn't just about ceremony, it's about daily life, how we treat others, how we speak, how we work, how we worship. God's people are to reflect his character. God gives his people rhythms of worship: Sabbath, weekly rest and trust in God; Passover, remembering deliverance; first fruits, honoring God with our best; Pentecost, gratitude for provision; trumpets, atonement, tabernacles, reflection, repentance, and celebration. There's also the Sabbath year and the year of Jubilee, a time of rest, release, and restoration. These aren't just ancient holidays, they point us to Jesus, who is our rest, our provision, and our eternal Jubilee. God outlines the blessings of obedience, rain in season, peace in the land, and his presence among them. But he also gives warnings for disobedience, disease, defeat, and exile. Yet even in judgment, there is hope. Leviticus chapter 26 verses 40 through 42. "But if they confess their sins, then I will remember my covenant." God is just, but he's also merciful. This chapter reminds us our choices matter, but so does repentance. The final chapter discusses vows and offerings. It emphasizes integrity, keeping your word, honoring what belongs to God. Leviticus ends quietly but powerfully. It shows us that holiness isn't just for priests or sacred spaces, it's for all of life. The way we live, give, speak, and serve, it's all part of our worship. Leviticus might seem foreign, but it reveals timeless truths. God is holy, sin is serious, worship is sacred, obedience matters, and grace is real. Every law, every sacrifice, every ritual, they all point us to Jesus. He is our high priest, our atonement, our righteousness. Through him, we draw near to God, not in fear, but in faith. Thank you for joining this journey through Leviticus. Be sure to subscribe and come back for our next episode as we dive into the book of Numbers. Stay rooted, stay faithful, and